What is up, RPG nerds? In this video, I'll be ranking all 27 Paper Mario series partners from worst to best from all the games. And you're like, what? There aren't partners in most of them. But there are some characters I'll be considering partners. For example, like your companions like Huey, Olivia, Tippy. I'm not going to count the Pixels because, let's be honest, they don't really have that much personality. But anyway, I'm going to be counting the partners and some of like the side companion type things from every single Paper Mario game, all 27 of them. Alright, in 27th place, I'm already going to be controversial here to some people, but some people totally be on my wavelength. But in 27th place is Watt from Paper Mario. I'm sorry. I know that Watt is a baby. I know she's cute. I know she can't talk because she's a baby. But really, like, I'm not going to say a baby that doesn't have any personality is better than any of these other characters. Like, I don't care if a character's annoying, as they have dialogue, and that already makes them a better partner than Watt will ever be. No offense. I like the design, I like the baby and stuff. But I feel like that even just getting, like, a Shy Guy partner could have been cooler. Or getting, like, the mini, like, big lantern ghost that has a good personality. Although I guess we just got a ghost in Chapter 3, so that would make no sense. But anyway, Watt is just mediocre, in my opinion. Alright, in 26th place, again, I'll probably get some people mad, but I'm going to put Cooper in 26th place. The problem with Cooper is Cooper wants to go on an adventure. Oh, it sounds like Goombario, the partner you just got. Oh, Cooper likes Colorado. Ha 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 ha. Well, Goombario likes Mario. It's almost like these characters are basically the same, and you get Cooper second. Also, Cooper is just embarrassingly bad compared to Koops, and I don't remember anything about Cooper other than the fact he was obsessed with Colorado, and it's not really good. Alright, next in 25th place is Sushi. Sushi is a nice, like, mom figure, I guess, but again, she has really no personality. And she's a little annoying even, and I don't know, Sushi's just, like, you get, like, 3 lines of dialogue from her, and then she never talks again, and that's just weird. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not the biggest original Paper Mario fan, and I mean, I love this game to pieces, but at the same time, I don't think the partners are well developed at all. And I know some people really love the partners in the original Paper Mario, but as much as I love them, like, it's solid. They're fun, they're cute, they are charming, but that doesn't mean they're good in terms of personality and stuff. And then next on this list is going to be Bombette. Bombette, for me, has a little more going for her than Cooper. At least she isn't just a clone of a different character. But really, in the end, like, her one personality trait is she forgot that she can do her main function in life. And that was kind of awkward. And she's kind of cute. I mean, if you have her out and in, like, story cutscenes and talking and stuff, she's cute. She has little hearts. And she's a lovable character, but there's really nothing here. So overall, I'm going to have to say Bombette is next on this list. Alright, next on this list, after Bombette, is going to have to be Goombario. Goombario, as I was saying about Cooper, Goombario is just a guy on an adventure, and he isn't very interesting. However, what does make him more fun is that you can talk to him outside of battle. And while he just kind of is there, like, I mean, his dialogue isn't amazing, especially compared to Goombella's much more personality-filled dialogue that she can have with her field ability. But I think Goombario's solid, and I hate to put him this low, especially when you can talk to him so much, but I just don't think that he has really much going for him at all. I think he is just pretty low on this list. Alright, next on this list, I actually forgot one now that I think about it, outside of this, but I'm just going to lump these two together because they're pretty similar to me. That's Squirps and Lovebee. They're both very solid characters in their own different ways. They're fun. I like both of them. They aren't, like, super interesting, but they are fun characters in Super Paper Mario. They both have their plot relevance. They're both fun, cute characters that I always love seeing, and I think that they their designs are really interesting. They're new. They aren't just like basic Goombas and Koopas, and they aren't super interesting. I mean, they're low on this list. They're bottom of B tier, but I still think they're both two quite solid characters, and I really enjoyed both of them. Alright, next is Madame Flurry. Known for her questionable at best design and her interesting personality, her, oh, I'm an actor, and then she never brings it up again, nor does she ever really show it until the epilogue. It's just, Madame Flurry was not very convincing, and it contributed to why Boggly Woods is one of the worst chapters in the game and in the series, to be honest, because truly Madame Flurry doesn't have much. I mean, the best thing you get to do with her is find her necklace, and that's kind of weird. And she just seems like an excuse to blow down walls. I mean, she's fine. I mean, her design is kind of weird, but I mean, it's unique. It's interesting. I'm not going to say it isn't, but... And, I mean, I don't know. She could have been one of the coolest characters in the game, I think. I just think she's a little underdeveloped. So, honestly, Madame Flurry might be a little overhated, but she definitely isn't, like, underrated or anything. Alright, next is Lackluster. I don't know, he's kind of just a chill dude. He's kind of fun. He's not super interesting. He's not super unique. I mean, he goes by Spike, I guess. You get to fight him, which is something you don't really get to do with other partners. So I guess that's kind of fun. You get to fight him before he joins the party. But in the end, Lackluster is pretty lackluster in terms of his personality and charm. I mean, he's better than a lot of them. I think he... he was kind of fun. I mean, he showed that, I don't know, I feel like Vivian just did the whole story of converting from like a bad guy to a good guy so much better. So yeah, Lackluster is pretty low on my list. Still B tier, mid B tier. Not horrible, but yeah. Alright, next on this list is going to be rather controversial, but I'm putting Kirsty next. I know, I put a sticker star thing above other things, and that is... I know, it's a disappointment to all things Paper Mario, but I will admit, Kirsty's sacrifice at the end of the game always gets me. I like that she talks to you throughout the whole game, even if what she says is middling at best. Having a partner that's just talking to you the whole game always means more than a partner that only means anything really for one chapter. And while she isn't very well executed at all, I mean, it's sticker star, but I think that just there's some things to love about Kirsty, especially with her sacrifice at the end. I know a lot of people just wanted her to die, and I guess I get that sentiment to an extent, but really, I don't know. Kirsty's great in some ways, but I don't know. Kirsty's just the definition of B tier. Like, she could not be any higher or lower than where she is right now. She's literally just like the middle of this list. Like, anyone above Kirsty is good. Anyone below Kirsty I don't really like that much. She's kind of just the standard to compare to because she's not really good. But at least she has a little more overall story than the last few partners on this list. And as much as that's probably going to offend some people, I'm just telling my honest opinion here. Next on this list is Parakarry, who does have a lot of personality, and I like that he delivers the different letters and all that stuff. And I like the letters, I just don't like Parakarry that much himself. I like that we get different stories with the letters and that we get to revisit people from the past, but I just think that because of his lack of like personality outside of like a letter delivering and stuff, he just doesn't really have that much. And this is just a common sentiment for me for 64 characters. They have like one trait that really defines them, and that's about it. And I know they are lovable. Like, his design is great, he's fun, he's charming, but again, I don't love the 64 partners that much. It's just an honest opinion, so yeah. Alright, also sorry, there's some sounds in the background. I dropped a couple things. It's a little awkward, but anyway. Alright, next on this list is going to be Miss Mouse, who is charming. a mouse thief who has a crush on Mario. Like, that's kind of wacky, kind of fun, kind of silly. But overall, she doesn't have that much going for her. I mean, she does have story throughout multiple chapters, actually. I will admit, that is cool that you see her a couple times. But, and then she becomes a, like, optional party member. And it's so much better than if they just decided to make her an optional party member and have absolutely no plot relevance or any appearances or anything. I think a little bit more of a hint of that her existence as a partner could have been nice for some of the newer players. But I think she is fun in terms of personality, in terms of flirtiness and stuff. But I mean, Goombella is able to have that same flirtiness, and Vivian's able to have the same flirtiness with Mario, even though they both are much more well-developed characters and stuff. So Miss Mouse is just B tier for me. Next on this list is Twink from Paper Mario 64. I think that Twink is one of the best Paper Mario 64 partners. Twink is really fun, charming, lovable, cute. I did find Twink pretty annoying sometimes. Maybe it's just I don't like the name of Twink. I don't know. I don't think that any of the things I dislike about Twink are very justified in any way of the word. But I didn't think Twink was amazing, but I thought Twink had a lot of personality, judging that we got a whole, basically after every single chapter we got to play as Peach and Twink. And I also don't understand, Twink would fly out and go tell Mario stuff, and if that were the case, why can't Twink just, I don't know, go recruit some of the other spirits from Chapter 7 and, find a way to, get Princess Peach free? I mean, I know that that's kind of a stretch, but also in some ways it just kind of annoyed me in terms of the plot. I know, I guess the spirits, I'm not sure if they can actually, physically hold stuff. I can't really remember or anything. It doesn't matter. I think Twink is great. I'm just nitpicking at this point, but Twink is a pretty solid partner as a whole. Alright, in A tier is Yoshi Kid, the first character in the A tier. And I think that Yoshi Kid has a lot of charm, calling Great Gonzalez. He has fun dialogue, and he's customizable. I really like that about him. Depending on when he hatches, he has different colors, and he just is a very different partner than the others, because he just, you are like his dad. Mario's like his dad, and his dialogue is really fun. I don't think he has any good plot or anything, or any really, really charming personality, so I'm not going to put him too high on this list, but he's a fun character nonetheless, and you're kind of a father figure to Yoshi Kid, so I really like that little plot arc there. Alright, next on this list is Bo from Paper Mario 64. Definitely the most developed of the Paper Mario 64 partners. Bo is really fun, charming, lovable, sassy. Bo takes everything that I don't like about the other partners in 64 and just kind of forgets that any of that happens. That's one of the reasons Chapter 3 is my favorite chapter in Paper Mario 64. But I just feel like there's so much more to be had with Bo than the other partners, because she actually feels like she could be a real being that exists and not just a archetype for a single personality trait. And I think that Bo is a great partner as a whole. Alright, next on this list is Luigi from the Origami King. And you're probably like, bro, why did you say Luigi is better? First of all, Luigi's Luigi. I mean, that's already pretty solid. But I don't know. Luigi just was so good. I don't know if anyone else considers him a partner, but I feel like he has a lot of plot relevance to the point he's kind of like a side character, kind of like Olivia or Huey or Kirsty or whatever. And I found Luigi just losing the keys over and over again to be hysterical. And sorry, not losing the keys, but finding the wrong ones. I found some of his chats with Mario in general just to be awesome. I love the scenes in the beginning where Mario finds Luigi again and is relieved and stuff. I like the different expressions that you can visibly see in Origami King, how you can see these people and these partners and stuff care about each other. And I don't know, I mean Luigi's one of out of the basic Mario characters, like not counting Paper Mario characters, Luigi's definitely the best, like new Super Mario Bros. Type character. I love Luigi in general, and I just think he's really charming in the Origami King. Alright, next is Bowser Jr. in the Origami King, and I think Bowser Jr. was really solid. Again, I know these Origami King characters are just generic Mario characters, but there's a novelty for me of seeing these generic Mario characters actually have charm and personality. And, I mean, Bowser Jr. usually is a very boring character. He's just Bowser, discounted Bowser, with not very much personality or charm. But in this case, going through the Shangri Spa with Bowser Jr. and seeing his, like, insecurities and seeing him really want to be healed and seeing him make a noble sacrifice at Hotfoot Crater and stuff. Like, all that was just really cool to see, and I loved that from Bowser Jr. And also next is Kamek, who is the same deal. I think he's very similar to Bowser Jr., except, I mean, one we're seeing get fixed, and one we're seeing the insecurities of him, Kamek, not being, like, fairly treated by Bowser, not being, like, treated as well respected as he should be and stuff, and him always being like right and stuff was really funny. I know Origami King, I have a bias toward Origami King. It's my favorite Paper Mario game, and I know that is super controversial, and I know that most people don't agree with me there, but I loved that game. And I mean, I played most of these games around the same time. I don't really have too much nostalgia for any of these games other than Thousand Year Door, but I love this character so much, Kamek, and I think that it's by far, again, there's a novelty to actually developing these characters we've seen before, and that might be giving me some bias here, but I just think that this iteration of Kamek is the best Mario's ever given us. And then next is Bowser. Bowser's always good in, well, I guess not in Color Splash and Sticker Star, but Bowser's always been a charming character in all the other Paper Mario games. In the original, where he's like the main antagonist, but he's like threatening yet funny at the same time. In Thousand Year Door, where we get his own little like plot arc where he's trying to find the crystal stars and become powerful and stuff, and he always fails. It's super fun and charming and stuff. And in like Super Paper Mario, when he's a party member and he gets all that stuff, you know, with I love the line where Peach is like, well, if you don't team up with us, like, how are you ever going to have a world to take over if there aren't any worlds left or whatever and all that. So Bowser's always been good in the Paper Mario franchise, but the only time he actually, like, qualifies truly as a partner is in Origami King. And honestly, he's awesome. Like, in the final chapters, he's super cool. He plays a big part in the final battle. That scene where he sits down on the bench and talks to Olivia is honestly one of the greatest scenes in Paper Mario to me. I love the heart and like emotion that is in Origami King. That's one of the reasons it's my favorite game in the series, because there's this overarching plot and because the characters really care about each other and interact with one another, whereas I feel like in the original games, like the partners would hardly ever interact with one another. And it would be so cool to see the partners like show that they were really like friends and stuff in like Thousand Year Door and Paper Mario 64. That is something I've always wanted from like a remake. So maybe we can get some character interactions in Thousand Year Door remake. I doubt that'll be a thing, but hey, man can dream. I should have put that in my Thousand Year Door top 10 editions video that I just recently made, so that's kind of silly of me. I forgot about that. But anyway, alright, topping off the A tier. Nope, sorry, not topping off the A tier yet, but next in the A tier is going to be Professor Toad. Again, we've just got a lot of Origami King partners right here in a row because I think they're all just really solid. But Professor Toad is really funny, charming. I love his story and how he always wants to see Captain Toad, and then we get him just throughout this whole chapter. And I think that Professor Toad is the most like partner-like of any of the partners because he actually has a field ability and he's just really fun. And And he also chats with you, like, on the map while you're riding around in the boot car and stuff. Like, Professor Toad chats with you. I feel like they did a really good job making Professor Toad actually feel like his own character you really care about and all that stuff. So I love Professor Toad, but I'm not going to say I put him any higher because he's, like, really funny and fun, but he's still, like, a generic Toad wearing some clothes. And, I mean, funny is not exactly full of story and stuff, so I don't know. Professor Toad is super charming, but not like the best ever. And topping off the A tier is Koops from Thousand Year Door. I love this self-contained story of Koops growing up, becoming a much better person through saving his dad and challenging his fears of going to Hooktail Castle and all that stuff. I think that Koops is just a really, really good character and surprisingly has a lot of depth for a Paper Mario partner. I really like Koops in pretty much every way, and I think he's awesome, and I will never say that Koops isn't one of my favorite partners. I think the biggest thing holding him back is that bandage on his nose. It's so bad. But other than that, I think Koops is an awesome character. Alright, starting in the S tier, getting controversial again, but I'm going to have to go with Huey. Huey's just Kirsty on steroids. So much better, so much funnier. And again, like I said, there just always is a novelty for me of having a partner that's with you from the beginning. And I think that Huey is that. He's funny. He has like a noble sacrifice at the end too, which is even better than Kirsty because I actually cared about Huey. He's just super funny, he's cute and all that stuff. I'm not going to pretend like he's revolutionary or anything, but I just, there's a charm to having like a sidekick the whole game. And while Kirsty wasn't well developed in the slightest, I think that Huey is just awesome. And I always love the partners that are with you the whole game, or that you can really interact with the whole game, because when a partner is really only limited to a couple of hours, it's just hard to actually really fall in love with them, and that's why a lot of more traditional partners are lower on this list. Alright, next is Admiral Bobbery. Admiral Bobbery's story is so bittersweet, heartbreaking. It's really awesome, though, seeing him go from being all depressed, a drunken sailor who just doesn't have any motivation to really move on because he lost the woman he loved, and go have this arc where he refines his love for the ocean and refines that really, his wife is lost from him, but he can move on and he will see her again and all that stuff. And it was just awesome. It was a really good story. I love Admiral Bobbery, and I mean, he didn't have the most personality and charm of any of the partners. He is a little more boring in terms of dialogue and stuff, but his story's awesome, and I love Admiral Bobbery. Alright, next is Vivian. This is usually people's near the top pick for partners in terms of how much they love these characters. But Vivian is just a great character all around. Depending on what version you're playing, sometimes she's trans, and sometimes she's just really disliked by her sisters and stuff. And I think either path is compelling. Yes, the trans thing is definitely more unique, but I also think that for younger audiences, the other path of the sisters is more relatable. So either way, Vivian is a great character no matter what version you're playing. But I just love her realizing that Mario's the good guy, realizing that, hey, not everyone is as rude as her sisters, and not everyone has to be their predefined role in life, and people can fight back against what they're supposed to be, but if they don't want to do that. And I don't know. And Vivian is also just cute and fun, and yeah, honestly, Vivian all around is just an amazing character. Alright, topping off the S tier is Goombella, and Goombella just has so much personality. Every time you tattle something, you feel like, yep, that's Goombella saying it. Like, if you took a bunch of, I'm sure you could do this for any of the Thousand Year Door partners, but like, if you gave me a list of quotes, I could definitely tell which was said by Goombella just by looking at it and reading it. Because Goombella really is just such a lovable character, tattling, being able to talk to the character, like, being able to just interact with her, and she just being able to respond to all the environments around you. Like, I feel like if I play this game again, I need to keep Goombella out more, because just she really feels like a sidekick that you can keep out during the whole game. Goombario doesn't have as much personality, in my opinion, but Goombella, if you keep her out and like you actually let her interact with the world around you, she really feels like a real sidekick, kind of like Huey and Kirsty and Olivia and Tippy all do. And I think that Goombella is just super charming, and she never really loses relevance. I'm not saying that like Vivian and stuff aren't awesome and don't leave an impact, but Goombella is just awesome throughout the entire game, and that really gives her the edge over some of these other characters. Alright, moving on to the S plus tier. You were probably like, well, topping off the S tier, there's still some left, and yes, there are still some left. And in third place on this list, getting the bronze medal, is Olivia. I love Olivia. She's so quirky, fun, cute, charming, and her sacrifice is infinitely better than Huey's and Kirsty's. She's just the peak of what a partner can be. And I don't think she's as thought-provoking or as fun as the next two partners. But I think that's thought-provoking. She's definitely more fun than the next two partners. But I don't know, everything about Olivia is so fun and charming and innocent, and she's just such a fun sidekick to have that really contrasts with the simple heroism of Mario, and it's just nice to see. I always love when there's one sibling that's evil and one that's nice and stuff, and Olivia's just an adorable character, a great character all around. I love Olivia, one of my favorite like female RPG characters now, because she just is oozing with personality, and I love her for that. Alright, in second place on this list is Tippy from Super Paper Mario. As much as she's such a gameplay annoyance, again, I love the interaction with her and being able to point at different things. And sure, I don't love the motion control aspect of it, but being able to have a partner, again, that lets you talk, lets you interact with the environment, all that is great. And just her story, especially in the end game and the beginning of the game and stuff, like Tippy is a very well-developed character by the end, and you really know Tippy well by the end of the game, and it's just really nice. I really love Tippy, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't get super annoyed when it makes me point at the screen and find hidden objects and do weird stuff with Tippy, but her story, her personality is awesome, and her design is really cool, and just overall, Tippy's awesome in pretty much every way, so yeah. Alright, and in first place on this list, honestly by a huge margin, one of my favorite fictional characters of all time is Bobby. I honestly get emotional talking about Bobby because he's so simple, and just this amazing story of him just wanting to make an impact just touched me so much, and I don't really have words to describe it, but like, I don't know. I think of any fictional character, and the two that come to mind for me are Particio from Octopath Traveler 2, Bobby from this game, from Origami King, and these two characters just mean a lot to me for some reason. And I don't know, Bobby just wanting to make an impact. And honestly, I know I might be the only person talking about this, but everyone talks about, well, Sticker Star and Color Splash, the generic characters, but I feel like Intelligent Systems, the restrictions they were put on them, they weren't really allowed to make special characters, but they were able to make this ball bomb. They were able to make it part of the story that this is just another generic ball bomb, that this is just another generic character that no one's going to remember except for Olivia and Mario and associates. But Bobby was just so cool. I love that they took a criticism of the previous games of generic characters and made Bobby a generic design, but not a generic character in the slightest. I love Bobby's sacrifice, and seeing Mario and Olivia react to Bobby's death is just so heart-wrenching, and him coming back in spirit form and all that stuff, and him just the fun that they have. Bobby, Olivia, and Mario is a perfect trio. It was so fun seeing Bobby. I love Bobby so much, and I don't know, I was literally like depressed when he died. Like, I literally sat in my room for like 15 minutes and just like contemplated everything about my life. Like, am I making an impact? This is how I'm going to go out. And a lot of people criticize in the final chapter how just you start shooting bombs off with the airship and stuff, but I actually think that's a pro to the game, because it shows, hey, these ball bombs also want to make an impact. They are willing to lay down their lives for a greater cause. And I just thought that, like, it shows that Bobby was generic, but he'll never be forgotten. And really, it just has themes that we can apply to the real world, because there are like 7-8 billion people in this world. Like, in the grand scheme of things, are we making an impact? Maybe not really. Like, sure, there's so many people, but we might not make an impact to the masses, but we might make an impact to the people closest to us, like Olivia, Mario, and Bobby. I don't know. I think that Bobby is just a perfect character, and for me, he is by far leagues above these other characters. He's one of my favorite characters of all time, and I love Bobby, and he's easily my favorite partner in the series. Thank you all for watching this video, and if you stuck it through to the end, you're amazing. I'm sure there's so many people who disagreed with this list, but if you made it all the way through without sending a hate speech in the comments, thank you. That means a lot. If you finish this video, please put down below Bobby made an impact, and that'll let me know that you finished the video. And if you want to see more discussion about the partners over on Patreon in the link below, I made a companion video to this one ranking the characters, the partners in the series based on how effective they are in battle. So if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will enjoy that one.